Welcome to your Residence Council meeting. I have a quick announcement. The first one is that the loop is down today. So if you're trying to connect to the loop, you're not going to get there. If you want me to explain the mechanics of that, we're done. Let's join together for our patriotic song. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to give a very short introduction for the person who is offering our moment of reflection, Ann Bewley.
Seven degrees I've gotten and all of that, none of which is true. So please join me in a moment of reflection. Each day brings countless small opportunities to connect, to encourage, to listen, and to lift each other up. While it's easy to get caught up in tasks and targets, it's essential to remember that what truly matters is how we show up for one another in the spaces in between. The conversations that offer a kind word, the teamwork that reminds us we're not in this alone, and the decisions made not just for profit or efficiency, but for integrity, fairness, and the well-being of others. There's something sacred in ordinary work when it's done with good intention. Every meeting, every idea, every shared laugh or challenge has the potential to mean something more when we choose to approach it with care. So as we move through today's meeting, I invite each of us to carry that spirit with us. Let's stay open, not just to new ideas, but to one another. Let's speak from a place of honesty and kindness. Let's listen not only with our ears, but with empathy. And let's remember that beyond all the plans and projects, we have the opportunity here to create a space where people feel valued, heard, and supported. If we can do that, even in small, simple ways, then we're already making a difference, both in the room and beyond it. Let's have a meaningful, productive, and good-spirited meeting together.
The slides are magically advancing this morning. It's wonderful. Shall we move on to the acceptance of the minutes of the April 21 meeting? Do I hear a motion from the Residence Council? May 19th. It's the May 19th meeting. You got any changes now? Okay. Thank you all for your good cheer and willingness to go along. We have a motion from Almina Pettit. Second from Lisa Evans. All those in favor? Aye. The minutes are approved. And now the treasurer's report. Gary?
Okay. Thank you, and good morning. The treasurer's report, let's see, is it up there? All right, there it is. Okay, very good. Okay, this is as of June 13th, treasurer's report. The percentage of the fiscal year completed is 12% already. Our budgeted income is $38,000 and change. Our total income, which includes moving stuff from the money market into the to the income thing, and the percent of the budgeted income remaining is $48,000 then. And I just got an envelope here from the sale of the boutique. They made $1,192, which is great. So finally, finally we actually get some money. Okay. The expenses we've scheduled for $41,000, and we've spent almost $2,000 so far. The bank account balances are next. In the general fund, we now have $22,000, and the employee gift fund, we have $192, but we have that same amount of money, not the same amount, but $28,000 we've got into money market that is dedicated to the employee gift fund. Finally, we have $88,000 in the money market and CDs for a total of accounts of $110,706. So that's all I need to do. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We can go ahead and skip that last slide. It just talks about money markets and CDs, which we don't need to talk about anymore. Thank you.
Sue Wattenberg, would you come and introduce us to a gang of new residents?
Good morning. I think I'll bring this down a bit. I have 5 new residents, not really a gang. The first person I would like to introduce is Roberta Christie. If you'd like to stand up briefly, Roberta. Roberta lives in Chasen Gardens. She grew up in central Missouri, one of 4 children. Her father was a Lutheran minister, her mother a school teacher. Her early education was in a 2-room schoolhouse in the small village of Lohman. She graduated from Capital University in Columbus, Ohio in 1966 with a degree in English. The next 5 years were spent traveling, studying, and working in Europe, where she learned German and Spanish. On returning to America, she taught English at Rickards High School, after which she attended FSU and obtained 2 degrees, one in English education and one in library science. She then became administrator of the International Student Center at FSU. In that position, she visited the program sites in the Republic of Panama and in San Jose, Puerto Rico. After retirement, she took up residence in Oaxaca, Mexico, where she assisted a family in establishing a bed and breakfast. Roberta inherited from her father a love of music and had training in piano and voice, and she has a particular passion for opera. Now I would like to introduce Anne-Marie Bratton, who lives in Azalea Gardens. Anne is almost a Florida native, moving to Winter Haven with her family at the age of 12. She attended St. Petersburg Junior College and graduated with an AA in nursing. As an RN, she has worked in all phases of nursing, including hospital, long-term care, and correctional. She ended her career and retired from the Agency for Healthcare Administration in the Bureau of Managed Healthcare, where she regulated the quality of care of licensed commercial and Medicaid health plans. She and her late husband, Bill, were married for 54 years and raised a daughter, Amy, and son, Andrew. Amy and her husband live in Tallahassee. Their daughter lives and works in Orlando, and Andrew and his husband live in Manhattan, New York. Anne volunteers for several organizations, loves gardening, loves cats. She enjoys walking, playing mahjong, and playing pickleball. Now, Mary Ann Stees. Would you like to stand up, Mary? She lives in Parchment Cove. Thank you. Mary Ann was born in Valparaiso, Indiana, one of 2 children. She attended, you can have a seat now if you like. She attended Indiana University in Bloomington, and after switching from an art major, she received her bachelor's degree in general recreation. It was during this time that she met and married her husband, Jack. She went on to get her master's degree in the same subject from the University of Missouri in Columbia. Mary Ann has been very much involved with the Girl Scouts and has used her qualifications working for youth agencies, helping find employment for adults with disabilities, and she was also Director of Social Work for the nursing home where her mother had been a resident. She moved to Tallahassee from Oswego, Illinois, where she had served on a zoning and planning committee for County Kendall. Recently widowed, after 58 years of marriage, she is glad to be near her daughter's family and her only grandson. Her daughter is a professor in the theater department at FSU. A talented artist, Mary Ann also has a strong interest in genealogy and history. Now I would like to introduce Kristen Anderson. Kristen was born in Michigan and grew up in Larchmont, New York. She attended the University of Wisconsin in Madison and received her MFA in metal art. Of Norwegian heritage, Kristen was able to get a job in the enameling department at the David Anderson Company in Oslo, where she stayed for 16 months. This was a great learning experience for her. Before her retirement, she was a self-employed artist with a studio in Apalachicola. Her beautiful pieces are made using silver, gold, enamel, and stone. She has no family in Tallahassee. Her only brother and niece live in Missouri. Her current hobby is sewing, and she makes most of her own clothes. Thank you very much. Now, my final person, I'm sorry, Sue Stevenson, another Sue. There are so many of us here. Sue also lives in Oaksaw. Stevenson. Okay, sorry. She was born in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and when she was 10, the family moved to Coconut Grove, Florida. After graduating from high school, she came to Tallahassee to attend FSU nursing school. Her nursing career began in the newborn nursery at TMH, and after 7 years, she transferred to the Department of Health, where she was a nursing consultant for 30 years. She has been enjoying retirement for 17 years. Sue has 2 daughters and 6 grandchildren. One daughter and her family live in Tallahassee, and the other daughter and family are in Pensacola. Sue attends the Co-Cathedral of the St. Thomas More Catholic Church, where she is involved with several ministries and serves on the parish council. She enjoys knitting, gathering with friends and family, reading, and traveling, and she's looking forward to meeting her Westminster Oaks neighbors. And I think that is all. Thank you very much.
Welcome to all of you. You may not be a gang, but you're important to us, and we hope that you will get involved in everything that interests you, including, hint, hint, committees of the Residence Council. Take your time, but find those things that interest you and be with us at entertainment and at work. Now I am happy to introduce Mary Jane Robbins and our chaplain, Jeff, who will come and talk to us about the Spiritual Care Committee, which has been undergoing changes now that they're freed from the Francis Chapel as their only concern.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. Just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce the committee and talk about what we're doing and what the changes have been and will be going forward. So, you know Mary Jane, let me forward. Here we go, point up that way. Okay. Point to the screen and it's not there. It's this way. You know, I was born and raised before this technology, and so it's not normal for me. Give this to a 12-year-old and they know what to do. But you see on the slide the list of committee members. If you're here, one of these members, would you please stand? There's Greta. Where else? Here we go. Yes. Foy. All right.
Jill.
Yes, Jill. Okay. So you may know many of these folks in your own relationships and friendships. These people have been very patient with me, and I'm very grateful for the work that they've done before I came and continuing now. We're recruiting for more people, so if you would like to serve on this committee as we talk about it a little more, let us know, and we'll be glad to hook you up that way. So what are we about? The committee really has evolved. I think previously it was known as the Chaplain Advisory Committee. You know, that's certainly a big job to keep the chaplain straight, but we are evolving more to be mission-driven and value-driven. And this is the statement that the committee came up with. The Spiritual Care Committee enhances quality of life with Westminster Oaks residents by providing resources for spiritual formation, supportive relationships, and worship opportunities for residents and for the organization. We value respect for all beliefs, spiritual practices, and values. So we are unashamedly multi-faith. We are not carrying water for any one denomination. You can do that on your own. You are certainly capable of maintaining your own spiritual and religious beliefs. But as a committee and as a community, we are here to be supportive of every faith and every practice that is represented here. Why are we calling it spiritual care, Mary Jane? Why that? I'm putting you on the spot. Come. Yeah.
Well, we had to change the name because the committee was originally formed to interview chaplain prospects. That had, as far as I know, had never been done because our old chaplain had been here over 25 years. But Shannon, I think, wanted to make sure that she had some resident input this time into choosing such an important position. When that, we did that actually 3 times, which we were not expecting, but 3 times is a charm. So that particular phase of the committee is over with, and we wanted it to be more general and really support what the chaplain does, which a lot of it is behind the scenes that you don't see. But we want you to know he's here, so when you do need him behind the scenes, you know where to go.
So we settled on the term spiritual care because it's the most inclusive. It's not limited to religious people. Some of us are religious, some of us are not, but all of us are spiritual. We find our spirituality in art or in nature or in other ways, but spirituality is something that we believe is universal for all humans. And in this setting, spiritual care is committed to honoring religious traditions and practices that are so meaningful, ritual that gives a great meaning to life, but also being open to other expressions and new expressions of spirituality. So in that way, everybody's at the table. Everyone is welcome. So what does the committee do? These slides are really about the committee, not about me. So I want to give you just an idea, especially if you're interested in working with us on this committee, what they're about and what they're involved in. They conduct or oversee 3 weekly chapel services, worship services, some seasonal events, including MLK Day, which Greta began a few years ago and has passed that on to the committee as a whole, and we're happy to participate in that. Holy Day events, annual services of remembrance, World Day of Prayer, grief support groups, many things that they are involved in. we implement the mission of enhancing spiritual resources for you. And then the other events are provided independently of the committee. There's so much going on in this community that not all of it, in terms of religious or spiritual events, comes from the committee. I, for one, am very grateful for that. I don't have to push everything to make it go, right? So these things are being provided on your own, by your own initiative and your own leadership, and amen to that. There's a Sunday worship service that's provided by the resident council, weekly worship services by different groups and denominations as well. So just to make you aware of that so that you can join in. And then our current committee projects, what we're doing now, we're updating and expanding the My W Life page or tab. That's going to be a very exciting and extensive project as we bring resources to that location where you can find it. And it'll be quite a variety of resources, spiritual resources, that you'll be able to go there and find things to read, find different opportunities for your own spiritual growth and enhancement. We're growing the grief support group, our resources. By the way, we are forming a new group currently. We just finished the first group a few weeks ago, and if you're interested in a support group, I highly recommend it. If you've lost someone, and who hasn't, significant in your life, then having companions come alongside and support you is very, very helpful. So I encourage you to look into that. We're working with the builders and leadership on the chapel, and we're putting together a program for end-of-life decision-making. You did that a few years ago. It's time to visit that again. So that's what that's about. Overall, we're just promoting healthy spirituality. That's it. Any questions or comments for Mary Jane or me? Yes, ma'am. Sue. Yes. Uh-huh. Thank you very much. Yeah, need that with a mic. Can you repeat that with a mic? Go ahead.
Yes, I know that we don't have a general, or even a vague answer about when we're going to get back to the basement, but what are you hearing about the hopes of getting back into the chapel?
The hopes are solid. The hopes are
No
sure.
time.
But the time, I don't know. It depends on so many things. It will happen. So don't give up. It will happen.
I was just saying that I was a member of the first grief support group that Jeff started, and that I found it very helpful and comforting, and I recommend it to anybody else who feels like they would need some support.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm very, very happy to be here. It's a big room. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's wonderful. I have a question about the end of life. Can you give me more details about that? If somebody wants to end their life, you assist?
No, no. That would be illegal. That's great. Thank you. I'm glad we could laugh about that. It's about decision making about our own choices in that regard. So it has to do, and it'll be a panel discussion. It's not up to me, but we would, and it's just an idea at this point. I have heard what you've done before. I thought that was a pretty good idea, but my vision at this point is to have an attorney, some financial expert, a nurse or a physician, definitely a physician, different people that can answer questions, and we have a open panel discussion about that. I can contribute some spiritual stuff, but I'm not killing anyone. So, Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to add a little word of encouragement about the chapel, because one of the reasons I voted to hire Jeff is because he was involved in restoring 2 different chapels at different places. And this last week, we made a trip down below to see what's going on. This is my 3rd visit down there. Don't ask me how I get to go down there. Just listen. This time, when we got to the chapel, I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. They had removed about this high up, about 4 or 5 feet up, all the walls up below. What that entailed in the chapel was the beautiful stained glass windows are framed in wood. So the bottom part of the framing had to come off. My worry when I first saw that months ago was that they'd lose that. They promised me they'd saved it. Well, I think it's sitting there on the floor right now. So I want you all to pray that no other flood comes that gets that wood that's laying on the floor. But we were down there mainly because there is some movement. The decorator is ordering some furniture and asking for input. So that's encouraging. But I don't think it's going to be for quite a while. So, nothing here happens quickly.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? All right. Thank you for letting us be here today.
The way Mary Jane talked about going to the lower level, I was thinking about the fires of Gehenna. But we have more trouble with water than we do with fire. So keep everything crossed and pray for a good resolution. I'd like to welcome Marie Cowart, and if Jill is willing to stand up, and Marie is going to talk about the Health Services Advisory Committee, what they do and what they are interested in doing as time passes.
Thank you. Just a word about the lower level. The lower level committee did indeed get a couple of days ago the architectural plans for the remaining part of the lower level, that part under the Oak South. They are working on construction in the Perry area for the clinic. The plans at the same time went to the city county for their permitting and out to bid to contractors. So that's what we know about the lower level. But let me talk about the Health Services Committee. The Health Services Committee was established soon after the health center opened in 1996, and it focused mainly on skilled care. The members were primarily residents and family members. And of course, our current chair is Jill, and she and I developed this together, this presentation. Today, the committee has a much broader, do I get to do this? A much broader mission. Yay. It addresses a broad array of health issues and makes recommendations to the resident council and to administration. It provides educational opportunities and it promotes aging in place. Oh, the other way, okay. We'll get there. Today's committee is very different than the original committee. It's made up of 3 attorneys, a physician, at least 6 registered nurses, a former CNA, 2 nurse practitioners, a speech therapist, a minister, 4 former state regulators, and most important, members are the consumers, the people who have actually either provided the care or received the care. The meetings are always held on the second Monday at 10 a.m. in the McGuire Center, and we're always fortunate to have administration. Shannon comes frequently, and of course, when she was the administrator of the health center, she helped form this committee and was there always. Jeff Bell comes and he talks mainly about Bertrand, reports on both positive and negative incidents like the recent scabies outbreak they had. He summarizes metrics that are important to ratings. Some of those metrics might be related to falls, to decubitus, or elopements. And then he also talks about improvements like the entire health center is receiving new mattresses. They are beginning to work on restoring the bathrooms. So there's a lot going on. And of course, each of our members reports concerns and raise issues. And I might say that we have different members of the committee targeted to focus primarily on a level. And so we have someone who focuses on Bertrand, who focuses on the Perry Center, who focuses on the Memory Center, and independent care. Vicki Brown comes, and she will report on availability and incidents in the Perry Center. She talks about the Memory Center, and of course we discuss issues like renters and wait lists. And then throughout the year, we will have other department heads come, like Karen Myers from the Perry Center, Gino from the Memory Center, Fred from therapy. The independent living report generates a great deal of discussion, ranges from outpatient therapy, the health resource nurse, the Corona Clinic, Westminster Pharmacy, the new home care service headed by Peggy Key, and transitions to levels of care. And then the sparklers were the brain style of Greta. Greta creates a lot of neat things for our community. It began 8 years ago, and it provides one-to-one care and attention for people in the Memory Center and people on the second floor of Bertrand, where I was told a couple of years ago that we have at least 80 people between those two settings who have dementia and are available for a buddy through the Sparkler program. Beth Mercer is the current head of the Sparklers, and they have training for new volunteers twice a year. So if you're interested, that's a good one. And then Greta also heads, the new wellness initiative that provides a lot of educational seminars and will continue in the future. Pardon me. Okay, in September of 2021, the Health Services Committee presented the Residents Council and Administration a report with 10 recommendations for aging in place for independent residents. Some of those recommendations were accomplished: a fiscal analysis, providing an initial nursing assessment prior to the person paying their down payment so that they don't feel so committed to one unit. There also is input from the individual's physician. And then the council educated residents on support services and how to be a good neighbor rather than a caregiver. Of the 10 recommendations, progress has been made on organizing support services for people who are aging in place and need a little more care. Actually, our staff this committee is headed by Kim, the health resource nurse. Our staff have a weekly meeting where multiple department heads, I would say probably between 8 and 10 different staff members, attend this weekly meeting. It's called the Level of Care Committee, and it addresses issues, probably some 40 people a week, and they provide support services, they provide regular assessments for people where there are concerns. And if you do have concerns about a neighbor, Kimberly is the person to notify, and they will follow through and see if those folks are getting the care they need. And then there are recommendations that have only been partially addressed. For example, they're reinstituting a two-party care plan. We have many couples who move in who have one person dependent upon the other. And if the more independent individual has an incident and has to go to the hospital, what happens to the second person who's dependent on that? So this care plan addresses that. And as Kimberly finishes all the wellness checks, she will be following through and seeing that people who are in that situation have a two-party care plan so that staff and the resident know what will happen if there is an incident. Currently, Kimberly is the only person who does case management, which is strictly case finding and then following through on people who have needs. And so right now her plate's pretty full, but Shannon is working on her duties and seeing if some of them can be distributed to other people so that Kim can be 100% focused on independent residents. And then because there's an ongoing wait list for the Perry Center, we had, in the original report, recommended that a portion of Oak South be licensed as a hybrid unit that could be independent, and then if a person aged in place, they could receive assisted living services right there in their unit. That is maybe not likely to happen, but it was a thought from the committee. Another recommendation that we had made was that we receive a license for assisted living, that's the second level of care. Currently, assisted living has a standard license, which is the first level of care. If a person cannot transfer themselves, then they need to move to a higher level of care. What we don't have here is a more intense level of care for assisted living license. And so that was a recommendation. Currently, people can move to the health center if they are becoming too frail for assisted living. And actually, I learned something recently, is that the health center can accommodate couples even with our floor plan, so that the one side, I don't know how many of you have been to the health center, but the way it's arranged, the beds are kind of facing each other, but it can be rearranged so that a couple can have their beds side by side in the health center, which I think is kind of neat. Another recommendation that is now finally going to be addressed, if you got your recent memo from Hank Keith, and that is to have an integrated electronic recording system, so that security doesn't have to go come back to the office in order to look at our face sheets that we fill out for Kimberly. Actually, the thing we can do as individuals is keep our file of life updated, put a little sticker on our front door, and put the file of life on the refrigerator, and that solves the problem because that has the same information. And finally, the last recommendation we made that has not been fully implemented is we would like marketing to emphasize more the unique feature of Westminster Oaks, that we provide 3 levels of care in one setting, and we're the only game in the area. And last, at our last meeting, we wanted to address some of the issues that had not been carried out. And so we approved an updated aging in place set of recommendations. They will go to the resident council at their next meeting. So for today, they're only available for discussion. But we wanted to, we recommend that the wellness checks be returned to twice a year. When they first started, they were twice a year. I think there may be a compromise there, maybe for identifying, they currently make more frequent visits for people who are at risk, but it could be that more frequent wellness checks and case finding could be done. The second is we had recommended that a database that documents people with risk factors. Actually, Kimberly has developed that, so that is accomplished. And the last is that we really want to assure that new residents are appropriately placed in the level of care when they first come here, and not have to change within the next 3 or 4 months. And I think many of us have experienced neighbors where that's been an issue. So that concludes our report. Be happy to answer questions. Jill is here, and other members of the committee as well. So, okay. Thank you.
Marjorie Turnbull has asked for a moment to update us on Dempsey Mayo Road issues. That new crosswalk is coming along.
I think all of you have been following what's been going on at the entrance of Westminster Oaks, and they have completed it with the exception of painting the lines that actually show where it crosses in front of the, so we're very, very pleased about that. This was something that the committee had been working on for a while, and it was the need to move that sidewalk back was recognized by the committee a number of years ago. You'll remember the sidewalk was right against the street. And if you were walking towards Wilani, your back was to the oncoming cars. So this was a major happening. And I think the county did it very well. I don't believe anyone was inconvenienced. They managed to do both sides first, then they did the middle, and then they did the asphalt. It was kind of fun watching it go on. Just so you'll know, we still don't have a date for the roundabout, for the breakthrough to Dempsey Mayo from Wilani. Those of you who are new may not know that is coming. You know, when I've been here long enough to remember when they were building Westminster Oaks and thinking, why are they building a retirement community that far out? Those people won't be able to go downtown to shop. What will they do? So you can see how things have changed. I read in today's paper there are going to be 7,400 more homes in Wilani, and we are the only straight route between Miccosukee and Mahan. So safety has been the number one concern of the ad hoc committee. And we don't have a date for the opening. They have to do it once school is out. They also have to negotiate with Westminster Communities on a right-of-way for the roundabout. Just so you'll know, the developer must pay for the roundabout. And therefore, they're the ones that are negotiating with Westminster Communities. This is not something that the county is involved with. The last thing we are working on is to widen the sidewalk between Emerald Chase and the entrance to Westminster Oaks. And that is so it will be safer for both pedestrians and will also allow golf carts. And it will require a county ordinance that will allow golf carts to use the sidewalk. Pedestrians would have the right-of-way, but that way you will have it safer for both golf carts and pedestrians. And that's still in the works. Let me make it clear that I can brag all I want about this committee because I'm a latecomer to it. The committee over the last 4 years was under the chambership of Bob Parker, and this committee has done amazing things. They have done research and analysis, not the least of which was Al Oosterhoff sitting with his traffic counter at all days of nights to come up with a report that had charts that showed how fast traffic was going. So there was no further question that there was a need to slow down traffic on Westminster Oaks for the safety of our residents. And the report that they prepared, a very, very thorough report, which is in the library, really did establish a strong credibility of our residents with local government. So I think you can feel that you're in good hands with these folks. And I would like, they're going to kill me for this, but I really would like for those members of the ad hoc committee that are here to stand. Bob Parker, I don't know if he's back from France. Al Oosterhoff, Mary Jane Robbins, Terry Ward, Stand up, Mary J., stand up. Bob Ballard, Peter Butzine, and Jody Gooding. Thank you.
Thank you all. Ms. Sauls, would you like to come and address us? Don't spill your coffee on the way, please.
Good morning. I have a really sweet letter I would like to read to you this morning. I redacted the names and diagnosis of the letter, but it was very well written by a resident who lives here. It's to Jeff Bell, the director of our health center. And it says, "Dear Jeff, I want to share with you how happy my family is with the excellent service we've received from my husband. He has been given therapies, enjoyed great meals, participated in activities that have helped his overall mood. All staff, medical, caregiving, and activities treat him respectfully and kindly. Deciding to have him stay at Bertrand after his Medicare discharge was the hardest decision I have ever made. You and many other staff members in admissions, social services I spoke to helped me so much regarding my decision that Bertrand Health Center provided the long-term care. He is very happy at Bertrand Health Center. We've had him home for family visits, and nearly every time he tells us, it's time to go back. The atmosphere at the health center and the very good staff are a great gift to this caregiver. Thank you so much for your care." And letters like this warm my heart, and I get them with a great deal of frequency, mostly in the form of legendary nominations for our staff, and I'm quick to send them to the HR department and make sure they go in that person's file and that they are also recognized at our employee town meetings, because we, just like we have a town meeting for residents, we have one for our staff as well, to keep them updated on current affairs as well as recognizing them. And when you send a letter or an email, I read that to them and ask them to then receive their award. And so it's so wonderful to be able to share that information, not just with you, but also with our team members. I also wanted to share with you that our team members have an EAP, an Employee Assistance Program hotline. But you may have heard this before, I just want to emphasize it again, that is available for residents as well. There's a 24/7 phone line. We're going to post this on MyWLife so that you have all the details about it. But the services are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, with immediate access to a counselor, without the use of a hold or a transfer services. All counselors possess a master's degree or PhD in counseling field and have over 5 years of experience navigating responses to age-related physical and physiological changes, discovering a wise and successful approach to aging, issues related to changes in life's roles, grief and loss-related life transitions, or death of a loved one, day-to-day stresses of living and caring for themselves, a spouse, children, or loved ones, optimizing leisure time, spiritual concerns, anxiety, depression, loneliness, isolation, improving self-esteem, autonomy, confidence, substance abuse. So it's a very well-rounded program, and we want to make sure that you're aware of it and that you know it's available to you. And so we will post that as well on MyWLife. So some other things I just wanted to share with you. You've seen Fielder's Tree Service out, going from neighborhood to building, so forth, so on and so forth. They have either removed or limbed 85 trees here on the campus that were already identified, and they actually have a few more proposals in place about a couple of others that we want to have limbed or removed. We also completed an irrigation, as Keister, I wasn't out there putting flags out, just so you know. Irrigation audit has been finished, and the project actually started this morning with addressing all the sprinkler heads. Some are damaged, Some have been ruined, some need to be replaced, some can be repaired, so on and so forth. They have the skill set to do that. So they've actually begun this morning. They also have a program where they're going to be installing irrigation in Emerald Chase. The city has to come and remark the areas because they do it in such a way that the rain washes it away, and we don't want anybody's gas or internet to be a problem. And so that's being remarked so that that can be done. So you understand, right? Yours, okay, so we don't want to do that again. We had a photo shoot a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you're aware, but we brought some residents out and we staged different functions and cocktail parties and meals and putting green and different things like that. So thank you again to the residents who participated in that. Our philosophy now is we want to showcase our own residents, not actors, but our own residents. It just lends some authenticity, to the brochure, the website, all of that, when they see you in there. And so we'll continue on that track with following up in the next few months with also video testimonials and things like that. So I was sad to share the news last week that our director of maintenance resigned. And so I know you've heard that. Many tasks had already been assigned to Dusty and Corey. You're familiar with Dusty Criddle and Corey Leonard. Corey is our newest. I think he just hit 90 days. So he's been with us. He actually came to us from W.W. Gay. So he does have that pipe fitting experience, which has really come in handy lately, unfortunately. He came to us so that he could have quality of life because W.W. Gay had him on the road and he has a young child at home he wanted to spend time with. And he decided that Westminster Oaks would give him a great quality of life. And so he's been with us and he's been very happy here. So we have a lot of support from our CSS home office. Actually, Mike Shanderpaul, I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's of Indian descent, a really tall guy, engineer. He comes to us every month and goes and looks at all of our programs and so forth. Jonathan Gannier is a maintenance director at another property, and he's agreed to come and help us out a couple days a week moving forward beginning next week. And so we're really appreciative to that property for lending him. The last time they lent us somebody, they ended up applying and working here. And so I understand why that executive director may not be so quick to want to send anybody. We try not ever to recruit people, but they do come to Westminster Oaks and they fall in love with us. And they want to stay. That's what happened to Chef. He came here and he had gone to FSU and he decided he was going to come back, and he stayed with us for a long time and then he went back to that property. But so we will have Jonathan to come and help us as well. We have already started interviews. I don't know if you've seen the postings online. So we've been interviewing people. I had my first interview actually last week. I asked Dusty to sit in with me so that he could ask some job-specific questions to that individual. New furniture for common areas of Perry Center, 2nd and 4th floor, are scheduled to show up in September. We've paid the deposit on that. So they'll be sending us some fresh, updated, good-looking new furniture for assisted living. The Perry Center lower level, the work actually commenced last Tuesday. I don't know if you're aware of that, but Coastal Reconstruction went downstairs and started putting all the walls back up and painting and so forth. So we're seeing movement in the Perry Center, which is makes my heart sing because I know you are and I am tired of not being able to use that space. We just paid the deposit on the clinic furniture, so that'll be showing up when we're ready to open the Health Resource Center again. We're going to move the chaplain back, chaplain down there. We'll move maintenance back to their corridor and so forth. So the Oak South, the main pipes, risers have been replaced for those of you who live in Oak South. We still have adjacent pipes that need to be replaced too. They had two methods of doing that. They presented us with the first method, which meant tearing up your kitchen, and I said, no, we're not going to go into people's apartments and tear those up. Find another way. And they found another way. That way will take a little bit longer to get those pipes done, but it will not be intrusive into your units. And that was really, really important to me, that you didn't have your life disrupted any more than it already is. So the Holleran survey. So you've probably seen the links for the Holleran survey. A couple of you were so enthusiastic that you tried to get on it before it was active. It is now active, so we really, really want you to go onto the Holler-In survey and give us your thoughts. We count on your feedback. That helps give us guidance and direction for our department heads and know where to focus in the upcoming year. So I hope that everybody, 100%, everyone, will go on that link or fill out your paper Holler-In survey and get it mailed in. And thank you also to the residents who attended Walkabout with me. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate you trusting my driving in the golf cart. I know it was scary, but I very much appreciate. You don't have to nod enthusiastically. I saw that. But we did. We got to drive around the campus, and I got a little bit of your thoughts and feedback. I think I'm going to get something in writing, hopefully, from the people that participated in that with me, but I appreciate that. We walked some of the common areas, got your feedback and your thoughts there, and so that also helps us to prioritize the things that we may need to do in the upcoming year, especially capital projects. So I very much appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me and going with me and interacting with me and asking me questions, and people were very engaged, and I appreciate that so much. So anyway, thank you so much. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, there are flags for the irrigation.
You said the city's going to do something. I thought we were
In Emerald Chase.
Yes, are they in the city? I thought we were in the county.
We have, this is what Bryce told me actually this morning, that says they have to mark the gas lines.
But-
And they have to mark the internet lines.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if the city's doing it, why are we having city people do work? I thought we were in the county.
We are in the county, but we reach out to the proper government agency to mark the gas lines and and
so
all the other
city-
lines.
The city people help with that.
They did. Yes, sir.
Shannon, what is the latest update with getting the telephones in public areas?
Actually, I read your
accessible?
email to Greg, and I have not read his response yet. But you helped identify 3 particular phone lines that you said would be very beneficial to have T-Coil units in them. So he is working on that. Anybody else?
May I?
Oh, hi.
I was sitting here thinking about when she was talking about the street. We moved back to Tallahassee in 1966. And all of that out there was mud. The street was mud. They had built the school. Our daughter was first grade through 6th grade, the first one to go through there. And Ray would take her to school in the mornings on his way to Leon. I took our son on the way to Cobb. And if it had been the least bit rainy and there was any mud, Laura, we're not going to make it. You can know what a 6-year-old would stay with muddy water. And no, Laura, we're going to get there fine and all this kind of stuff. But there was also no light, no at Mahan or at Dempsey Mayo. So you can imagine what it was like with being nothing but mud and no lights. Now, I have to tell you this, on Saturday afternoons during football season, you stayed home because there was no way to get out between FSU and FAMU football. You stayed home. But I couldn't help but was thinking about, and Miss Daisy, who's here in the evenings, was her 2nd grade teacher. So we go a long way. If you want any more stories about that area over there, let me know. But when I was thinking about the paving and all this, all I could think about was the mud that you got through to come to the school and get out of there. So I thought maybe some of you probably didn't know about that, but it was fun times.
I do have an answer for you from Greg. Mr. Ronsrott? I just read Greg's email. It says, yes, I've done lots of research and I have a plan waiting on Optibor, that's our phone system company, to let me know about changing the business line to analog line to accommodate the phone with the T-Coil. So we're making some progress. There you go. Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that maintenance and the chaplain were going to be moved back soon to the lower level?
Yeah, as
because
soon as the
those
walls are
areas-
up, we're going to go ahead and move maintenance back there.
And the chaplain,
And chaplain will go in the old director's office,
the old
dining director.
dining director's office.
Yeah,
which
so
was
we're going to take him out of memory care.
Okay. I just wanted to make people, make sure that.
I have gotten all kinds of flack about that, just so you know. But yes,
Just
he
wanted-
wants to come out of memory care too.
But I wanted to make sure that people knew his office had been moved from the health center over to memory care.
Yes.
So if you do need to get a hold of him in person, that's where he is. But I'm glad to hear that he'll be moving back on campus where he's more accessible. Thank you.
Yes. So we ended up hiring a third HR personnel. We have the largest population of all the properties. We have the largest number of team members that we are bringing in and processing here and managing. And our HR department really only had 2 people for many, many years before that. One person, then it went to 1.5, then it went to 2, and now it's 3. And so with 3 team members and all the things they have to do, all the education and so forth, it's been really beneficial to have a third team member. And so that's why the chaplain ended up moving over to memory care, was because we needed the HR department cohesively together on the same hallway. And so that's where they are. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Marjorie and Shannon, you will both be glad to hear this. The only time I was scared when Shannon was driving was when we were on the sidewalk going to Emerald Chase. That cart is 1 inch narrower than the sidewalk. Thank you. No, we didn't. And I'm very glad. Are there any comments from the Residents' Council? Hearing none. I think everything that I wanted to mention at the end has already been covered, so thank you all for your participation, and have a good day. Up. There's one more.
I just wanted to encourage everybody to come to our next forum program, which is next Tuesday, right here, 2 p.m. It'll be a presentation about the Leon County Consolidated Dispatch Agency. So to help you better understand what happens when you make a 911 call until you get the help you need, please come next Tuesday, 2 p.m. right here. Thank you.
Please check under all seats for any items you may have left behind. Thank you.